Welcome to Harrison Hacks.
Hey guys, welcome back to Harrison Hacks. Today's the day Vintage Collection is being released. This is the main base, and this will cover the first 12 packs that I've already completed. So the packs are not included, they are separate to make this a much smaller download, and then pick and choose the systems that you want. I will be uploading the packs as fast as I can. Try and get them out there as as fast as I possibly can. They're just going to come out sporadically, whichever systems I happen to upload. I'm just going to go down the line and kind of upload that way, and then you guys will get them as they come. But here we go. First, what I'm going to show you is just give you a little bit more of a rundown of how it's going to look. And this will be showing you without it having any packs. So I'm going to show you real quick. And I'm going to mute here. But we're sticking with this modified AnimA display. And if we go into any of the systems, it's exactly how it's going to look when you guys download this. So we have nothing. So everything's empty on this end. And in my next video, I'm going to show you how to add the packs and how easy it is to get everything rock and roll. So let's exit out of here. Show you a little bit more. But you guys, I mean, if you haven't seen the update videos from my progress on this, go ahead and check those out, and it'll show you. But here's how everything looks. So I'm going to exit out, and I'll just go back to the root of my H. So if you go to the link in the description, it's going to take you to Arcade Punks. And you're going to scroll down until you download the Vintage Collection. And when you have it, you won't have this folder yet. You're going to have Vintage Collection Z01, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and then just a Vintage Collection.zip. So what you're going to want to do with this is go to the Vintage Collection.zip, right click, and extract here. Or if you're using 7-zip, extract here. Once it's extracted, you'll have your Vintage Collection folder. And you're going to want to put that on the root of your H drive. So it must be on drive letter H. So I'm in the root of H. I would just take this folder and drag it over to my H drive. Now I've already done it, so I'm not going to do it. The download size, I'll just show you guys really quick here. 5.49 gigabytes. Once it's extracted, we'll see what we're looking at once it's extracted. So this is going to get you guys your controls set up within attract mode, and some of the emulators for all of the emulators for the 12 packs I've already done. When I release packs that new emulators will be included, then in those particular videos is when I'll show you how to set up your controls. So you can see there's a lot of files. We're over 29,000. But I want to say it's like under 7 gigs, possibly just around 6 gigs. Just for the main base. Like I said, nothing else included, just the main base. So we'll close that out because now you've already copied it over to your H drive. Yeah, 6.86 gigabytes. So not too bad for the main base. Nice small download. So now we have it on the root of our H drive, Vintage Collection. Let's pop it open. And first thing I want to do is go to Systems. Actually, I apologize. Go to Utilities. In the Utilities folder, make sure that you have DirectX installed, so you can go ahead and click this shortcut and it will install DirectX for you. The other thing you're going to want to make sure you have is this Bebe's new font, and for this you just right click, click install. Now I already have it installed. Do I want to replace it? I'm going to click no, but if you don't have it installed, then it'll install for you. Next thing, make sure you have your Visual C runtimes, and just for me, I do 5, 8, 10, 12, 13, then 15. That's just how I do it. You do it however you want. That's what works for me. As you can see, this is a 64-bit build. I have included some other things in here. So if you want to use an icon on your desktop, I just included 4 little ones here. This cart says Vintage Collection, but it's an icon, so you can't see it. But that's what I'm going to be using for my icon. So you'll have DirectX installed by now. You've got the font installed. You've got your Visual C runtimes installed. If you're trying to use like a PlayStation 3 controller, I'm not going to get into doing all that, but there is easy videos to follow on YouTube. Those are included. A couple other text files that we'll get into eventually as well, and the Wii U thing we'll get into in a different video. Notepad++ is a great small program. I recommend installing this down the road if we need to modify anything to any of my builds. More than likely we're going to be using this program, so go ahead and install Notepad++. It's a safe little program and it's awesome. It's very, very handy to have. So now that we've done everything in here in the utilities folder, make sure you have your controller plugged in. We're going to be setting up our buttons. We're going to want to open Rocket Launcher, Rocket Launcher UI, and then Rocket Launcher UI.exe. And we only need to do one small thing in here. So it takes a little bit to launch on my laptop, but my plan is to start using a better computer. I have my living room PC that I may transform into my working PC for recording and doing all this stuff for you guys. But I've got to convince my wife first. Okay, so in here, pretty simple. We're going to go to the, make sure you're on global, general settings, controls, and you can see there's an exit script key. No, wait. Wow, guys. Sorry, it's been a long day. Go to settings. My apologies. The settings wheel, and we have exit emulator key. Click this button right here, and that's going to bring this up. So go ahead and if you have a Joy 7, Joy 8, if you have this right here, go ahead and delete that. Keep the escape. I always like to have escape on as a backup plan in case you switch controllers and it's not working. So now we're going to add a new one, and we'll click it. And then this is going to capture what buttons we press. So I'm going to use start and select, the same as RetroPie. So I'll press it, and I'll press start and select. And there we go. Don't forget to hit save hotkey. And that's it. So now that we have that, we're going to close, and we can exit out of Rocket Launcher UI. Done there. So let's go back. Now we're going to go into systems. I know it's quite a bit of configuration, but trust me, this will help you in the long run. So EPSXE 205, and we're going to launch that up. Now we're going to go into config, Gamepads, port 1, pad 1, and here we go. So we're going to set up our buttons. So this says direct input. I'm actually going to use X input. Oh, no config required. Alright, we'll do this. So I pressed my L2, L1. Just follow with me here. D-pad up, D-pad down, or D-pad left, D-pad down, D-pad right, and then we'll press our L3 like a button. Then this will be L3 down, L3 right, then we're going to go to R3 left, and R3 down. This is your right analog. There we go. And then we're going to keep moving on. We'll click it like a button, our R3. So they have the square button, so I'm pressing X on my 360 controller. This will be A. This will be B. But this will be whatever you're seeing on your controller that you have. I'm using Xbox 360 in the demonstration here. There we go. And then R1 and R2. Okay. Now we'll just go here, press start, and select. Okay, I think we got everything here. Go ahead and click OK. File, exit. We can jump out. We'll go to PJ64 and we'll launch that up. When you launch this up, you got to wait for this support screen, and then you'll be able to close it. When you launch 64 games, this screen won't pop up on you. Don't worry about that. There we go. Close it out. Options. Configure controller plugin. Controller 1. So here we go. And then you set it however you choose. So click up on your D-pad, down, or well, left, right, down. Sorry guys, it's like 6 in the morning. I'm pretty tired. Oops. Start. A, B, left trigger I use L1, R trigger I use R1, Z trigger I use L2. Then your C buttons. So for my C buttons, I just use my right analog stick, but you can do it however you choose. So up, oops, up, left, right, and down. And then this is your analog stick, which I use my left analog stick. So up, left, right, and down. We'll click save, file, exit. Okay, Project 64 2.1. It's a similar process. Options, configure controller. So I've got the Afterglow Gamepad. I'm choosing my controller on this one. And then we're going to go D-pad. Start there. Click the little box. Up, down, left, right. It seems to have already done this for me, but up, down, left, right. I'm using the left analog there. Start button. Button 7. My Z trigger would be my L2. L trigger is my L1. And my R trigger is my R2. There we go. And then your C buttons, I'm going to be using my right analog stick, so up, down, left, right, and then B and A. So I use X for B and A for A. There we go. And that seems to be all of our buttons there. So save. And it's going to want you to save this file. So where I'll save this is we're going to go back. Oh wait, we need to go and hunt down our vintage collection folder. Systems, Project 64 2.1. And I believe it goes in here. Yep. So I'm going to do this as my Afterglow, but I'm just going to, I'll call it Afterglow. Afterglow. We'll hit save. OK. File. And exit. And lastly, RetroArch. Okay, so this is allowing me to use my controller straight out the gate. However, I do want to go down to Input, Input User 1 Binds, and then you configure this however you choose, but for me, I'm going to do it. This is like a Super Nintendo layout type controller. So I'm going to go there, select. So I use my A on 360, my X on 360, my back button. This will be my start button. Speed D-pad up, D-pad down, left, right. Then for A, I'm going to be using my B button. For X, I'm going to be using my Y button. And then L1, R1, L2, R2. Press in your left analog stick like a button, right analog stick like a button, and then left analog to the right, to the left, down, and up. Right analog to the right, to the left, down, and up. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I could just use a save auto config if I want. But I'm also going to go back, go to configurations, save current configuration. There we go. And then we will quit RetroArch. Okay, so now let's go into Vintage Collection, which is in attract mode. So let's launch it up, attract.exe. Press tab on your keyboard. And we're going to go to Controls, press Enter, and go all the way to the top. So I'm going to tell you what I'm using on 360 controller, but you can go ahead and use what buttons you choose. So if we press Enter on each of them, we go down. So I've got Joy 0 button 1. I'm actually going to remove that. And then I click Add Input. Now I use my B button for back. Now if I press my B button, it'll take me back. Then I'll use my keyboard. Using our keyboard still, we're going to go to up. So I'm going to remove any of the Joy Zeros. Be done with that. Add Input, I'm going to press up on my D-pad. Then I'm going to go to Add Input and press up on my left analog stick. There, now I have both. And you can see it's working. So we'll do the same thing for down. Remove that. Add Input, down on my D-pad. Add Input, down on my left analog. And we'll do the same thing for left. So remove, left D-pad, left analog. remove, add input, right on the D-pad, and enter right on the left analog. And then select is actually to choose a game or to choose something in the menu. So I'm going to press enter, and I'm going to remove joy 0 button 0. For me to start a game, I like to use my A button, so add input and press A. And now we're using everything with our controller. So here's what I set up. You guys can go ahead and figure out what you want to set up here if you want. But I go to previous letter. I'm going to remove this input and go add input. So the previous letter, I usually use my L1 button. Boom. And for next letter, remove, add input, I use R1. There we go. And then custom one here, this will be a search option. So for the search option, I actually use the Y button on my 360 controller. So we're going to add input and press Y. And there we go. So we can back out, and our buttons are configured, our controller is working. If I press Y, oh, for the search function, we need to press tab, go to plugins, and you can see that we have keyboard search right here. We would have to enable yes. Then you can have show results, jump to next match. I'll just leave it on show results for now. We'll get more into the search function once we have some packs added, because right now, sure, we can search for stuff, but there's nothing available, so it's not going to find anything. So we'll get more into the search function in a different video. So this is the release of Vintage Collection, and this is having all of your buttons pre-configured, waiting for the 12 packs that I have. So the first 12 packs that are done will be readily to go, available and ready to go, and I'm going to show you guys in upcoming videos for each of the packs exactly how this is going to work and how easy it is to use. So I really appreciate you guys watching. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm also on Twitter. I'm at Harrison Hacks. I'm new to Twitter. I'm way behind, but I'm new to Twitter. So I'm going to be on there from now on as well. So give a shout out to Brooklyn for telling me to get on Twitter and kind of giving me some ideas and showing me how to use it. Really appreciate that. And you know, for everybody that's interested in Vintage Collection, I just want to say it's on H drive for a reason. Like I said, a lot of people are like HyperPie PC. Their version 2 will be coming out in the near future. They do phenomenal work, so that way my packs will be nice and easy to use with their build as well. I may do how-tos on it once HyperPie PC 2 is available, but we'll have to wait and see. Right now my focus is on Vintage Collection. So again guys, I really appreciate you watching, and look out for the new packs coming out soon. Have a good day.